tensions, Iran is once again signaling that the door to diplomacy with the United States is not completely closed. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that reviving diplomacy with Washington is still possible, but only if the U.S. changes its approach and moves away from economic pressure and sanctions. Tehran says a new diplomatic path can be created, but rebuilding trust remains the biggest challenge between the two countries. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has said that putting diplomacy back on track is possible, suggesting that Tehran is open to a renewed engagement with Washington. However, Araghchi made it clear that Iran expects a change in U.S. policy before any meaningful talks can move forward. According to Tehran, pressure tactics and economic restrictions have failed to achieve their goals and have only increased tensions between the two sides. Iran has repeatedly accused Washington of using sanctions as a tool to weaken its economy and isolate the country internationally. Araghchi said that a return to negotiations would require trust-building measures and a shift away from what Tehran describes as a policy of maximum pressure. The Iranian foreign minister stressed that diplomacy cannot succeed without mutual confidence between Tehran and Washington. Iran says the United States must reconsider its economic pressure campaign, including sanctions targeting Iran's oil exports, shipping networks, and financial connections. Tehran argues that such measures have damaged prospects for dialogue and created further instability in the region. Qatar has renewed efforts to bring Iran and the United States closer to negotiations. Qatari Prime Minister Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani's visit to Tehran comes as Doha attempts to ease tensions and revive diplomatic communication between the two sides. Qatar has previously played a role as a mediator between Tehran and Washington and is now pushing for another diplomatic opening. The focus of these efforts is to reduce tensions, create communication channels, and explore conditions for possible future talks. Despite the diplomatic signals, the road ahead remains difficult. Iran and the United States remain deeply divided over sanctions, regional security issues, and broader political disagreements. While Tehran says diplomacy remains possible, it continues to reject what it calls Washington's pressure tactics. The U.S., meanwhile, has continued expanding sanctions targeting Iran's economic networks, particularly its oil and shipping sectors. Washington has introduced fresh sanctions aimed at limiting Iran's economic activities and restricting its international trade links. Iran has strongly opposed these measures, calling them unlawful and damaging to diplomatic efforts. Araghchi has also written to the United Nations Secretary-General, urging the international body to oppose what Tehran describes as unfair U.S. economic restrictions. Iran claims that Washington is attempting to pressure not only Tehran, but also countries maintaining economic ties with Iran. In his communication with the United Nations, Araghchi accused the United States of using economic pressure to target Iran's global connections. Tehran has urged the UN to take action against what it calls unlawful sanctions and pressure campaigns. Iran says these measures violate international principles and are preventing progress towards diplomacy. As Qatar steps up mediation efforts, Iran continues to signal that diplomacy with the United States remains possible. But with sanctions, mistrust, and years of confrontation still shaping relations, any return to negotiations will depend on whether both sides are willing to make compromises. For now, Tehran says the diplomatic door remains open, but Washington and Iran still face a long road before trust can be rebuilt.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to Mirror Now.